And I want everyone to get out there and start telling everyone, join in right now, because I'm about to introduce someone, and I say this respectfully. Every time I hear this lady speak, I watch, and she speaks real. She's not a professional politician. She's a real Australian. Her maiden speech, when she brought it before Parliament, people laughed at her and called her extreme, but everything that she said in that maiden speech has literally come to pass. I believe she is a voice of reason. She is a voice of wisdom. She's a heart. She is a heart for the nation and has a heart for the nation. I speak of none other than the amazing Pauline Hansen. Pauline, thanks for making time being with us on today on Prayer and Pushback.
Thank you very much, Pat, and thank you for inviting me to be part of your program and reaching out to the people of Australia and having this conversation.
Pauline, what's happening to our country? You're there in the coalface. You're there with the people. You've made it your aim to lift this country and be a beacon of light. What's happening to us right now?
It's very upsetting, isn't it, Pat? You know, when I first got into politics in 1996, I thought this isn't the country that I grew up in, and I wanted to get in there to have a say, you know, as a grassroots Australian, and to have a voice. In that period of time that I've been out of it since 1998, then I was re-elected again in 2016, and even this past 5 years, I've seen huge changes where I feel that the people are being controlled by the political correctness. We've had legislation imposed on us. We've become nanny states. We're being told what to do. As I refer back to, you know, our governments are there to adhere to the Constitution for the economic stability of the country and the rule of law. I've seen it change dramatically since that time and what they're supposed to be doing, and they shouldn't be there telling people how to run their lives or their businesses. It is amazing the control, but people have let this happen. You see, when I talk to people, they're not interested in politics. Oh, look, you're all the same. You're no different. You're therefore you got your snouts in the trough, and you don't care about the people. And this is the feeling that I get through. So you've lost an interest in the voting system. Most people don't even know how the preference system works. You just take no interest. You go in there, tick it off, and this is why we've got what we've got. And it's the people. People are the power of this nation. If you really want to take back control, understand what Parliament is about, how to vote, why you're voting for that person, and understand their policies. So, you know, my job and Senator Roberts' job on the floor of Parliament now is holding the government to account. And we hold 2 of those votes out of 3 that they need to pass their legislation. So it's questioning all the time. So it's a very important position that we hold, but one that I'm proud to hold and privileged to be a senator. And, you know, we can't control everything. People say to me, why aren't you out there? Why aren't you changing things? That's not how the system works. We can't change it. We are not government. So people have to understand this.
Pauline, I'm going to put my head on the chopping block right now, and I'm going to say something. I know it's going to be controversial, but I know I'm over Scott Morrison. I'm over his double talk, and I know he's a Prime Minister of this country. I'm so disappointed, and I know a lot of Australians feel the same. We have a federal election coming up. What can we do? Even people, and I'm going to unsay this, I would prefer a Dutton than a Morrison right now. And can you help me with that? Can you help me with this, Pauline? Pardon me?
You said music to my ears. Peter Dutton.
I'm over him. I don't care that he's a believer or not. I prefer Dutton. And people in the Liberal Party need to start making moves. I'm going to go for that. This man one day puts his hand on shoulder and says to a guy, this is my leader, and then does a Brutus, on him. But Pauline, help us through that one. I've nailed my mask to the wall there. So what can we do?
Look, it's up to the party whether they put Peter Dutton into the leadership role, which they won't prior to the next election. It's not going to happen, right? So we're going to have either a choice between Scott Morrison or Albanese. I'd hate to think of the Labor Party in controlling this country at this time. Absolutely hopeless. He's not a leader, nice man. I don't mind Albanese. I've been on a trip with him on a parliamentary delegation trip. Lovely man, but no leader. And to have the unions and, more importantly, to have the Greens possibly running this country alongside with the Labor, heaven help us, because it will be disastrous. What Morrison, with Scott Morrison, I thought he was very good as a leader in the immigration minister. I thought he handled that portfolio very well. But I think he's been very misleaded, and people don't see him as the leader in his role now as Prime Minister of this country, especially dealing with COVID. I think that he's allowed, and he had good intentions when he set up the National Cabinet, but I feel that he's lost control to the states. The states, especially the Labor states, have taken over control, and they're just doing what they want to do and will always do what they want to do. Regardless, I don't care if they say we've got this agreement at 80% vaccination rates, double vaxxed, the populace. I think that if they feel at any time they need to shut the borders, they will shut the borders, and the Morrison government can't do anything about it. So I think Peter Dutton, further down the track, he is Prime Minister material. I have a lot of time for Peter. People say, oh, well, the way he comes across. Look, you don't look for a person who's charismatic to be the leader of this nation. That's not what it's about. You want someone who's balanced in their the way they see it. You need a grassroots, you need someone who's prepared to make the stance and take the steps, but also show that compassion and understanding. It would be a hard role to be the leader of this nation, but Scott Morrison lost it for me when he actually, at the bushfires, when he went up to that woman who wouldn't shake his hand, and grabbed her hand and made her shake his hand. And that tells you a lot about the person. You don't do that to the public.
No, you don't.
You don't make them shake your hand. To me, that's someone who stands over the top of someone. You're going to do what I tell you to do. And you can't do that as leader of this nation.
You know, someone attacked me the other day because I was putting this event on, Pauline, which is normal. And I mean, you know, I've got my team monitoring stuff, and they're all out there, you know, saying what they want to say. God bless you. That's the best shot you got. God bless you. But someone said to me, it's the premiers. It's the premiers. I said, look, I'm an ex-street guy. That's like telling me John Gotti is standing out there and saying, I didn't shoot the guy. That was Sammy the Bull. But you gave the order. and I believe Scott Morrison is hiding behind these things. Have we lost Pauline? Oh, he's hiding behind that, and especially with this vaccine passport. Pauline, you're out there in the coalface. What can we do about these vaccine passports? How insidious are they? How evil are they?
Well, they are very evil, and I've spoken out against them, and I don't agree with the vaccine passports. You see, Scott Morrison, you're right. Under the Constitution, Section 51(23)(a) of the Constitution, it states that the Commonwealth cannot impose on medical grounds civil conscription, meaning they can't enforce people to have vaccines. So they actually have a list of vaccines, then they hand it over to the states. The states decides which ones they will actually impose on the public to have these vaccinations. At the end of the day, it is up to the person and their right to refuse having a vaccination. You don't have to have one. You don't want to have one, don't have one. I've made it quite clear. There's no way in the wide world am I ever having vaccination. I never did for the flu. I am certainly not putting this into my body. And people think that, well, look, the health advice is saying it's very safe. No, you don't have that. There's no proven test for the long-term effects it's having on your body. But I'm not going to have the governments tell me, or medical practitioners tell me, that I have to have this vaccination. And I'm responsible because anything goes wrong, there's no liability for us, there's no protection, there's absolutely nothing for the individual. We've seen problems that have happened. If you go to the doctor and they give you a drug or something, they tell you the side effects that this is going to have. Now, I don't see that this vaccination. You don't get the full advice with it. It's not being properly tested. Now, I spoke to I spoke to a specialist this the other day, and he said, I'm holding off having this done. This is a doctor. He said, I'm holding off having this done. He said, because we are starting to see now the side effects of this. Now, I've had a chiropractor tell me that months ago, all medical professions got a letter from the government stating that we could not speak out against the vaccination. Correct. If we did, we could be losing our licences. So they have purposely gone out to shut people down from having a say. If you watch the news or anything like that, if you speak out against the vaccinations or don't encourage people to have it, you don't get a voice. They shut you down. You can't speak about this. Correct. You're shut down completely. The public are not getting an opinion about this. The same as climate change. They do exactly the same with climate change. You have to follow their way of thinking, what they want to push on the public. Otherwise, you won't have a platform to actually speak about it. This is one of the most important things that is happening in our country, and for that matter around the world, that we are not getting the right advice. People are so confused. I hate this dictatorship, and I hate being told what to do, and I am going to retaliate against it. Am I going to comply with the vaccine passport? Probably not. But I will assess it at the time of what I need to do. Do I wear a mask? Yes, I do. Because, I'm up for re-election, and people say, Pauline, why are you going along with this? The fact is, people then may look at me and say, oh, well, she's not wearing a mask. She thinks she can do whatever she wants to do because I'm a politician. That's not the case. It's more important that I get re-elected again so that I can keep the fight going. Whether I wear a mask or not, it's not the issue. The most important thing is for me to still be on the floor of Parliament, to be a voice for the people and speak up on issues that other people or politicians are too gutless to actually talk about and inform the people. We are here to represent you. I will never be shut down by anyone, Prime Minister, Minister, anyone, if I think it is against the best interests of the people and for the people.
Pauline, I've just got texts and messages here. I'm trying to do three things at once. My female side's coming out. People are saying, we need Pauline. And yes, we do. Pauline, how can we get behind you? What do you need? What do you need to get more people elected and stop this two-party control system that we have? What do you need from the people of Australia? The floor is yours. What do you need from them?
Look, what we're doing is going through a selection process at the moment for candidates. Now, people who are going to be there for the right reasons, because I tell you what, I've got a very stringent process that we go through. I don't want people who are not going to put the time and effort, don't have the passion, aren't interested in this country, think it's just a well-paying job. You sit back and do nothing, because it won't happen in my party or representing the people of Australia. Good candidates. If you can't see yourself as a politician, well then it's the background help that we need. And it's also the fact of being out there on manning polling booths for us, handing out those how to vote cards, get behind our candidates, show the strength that we have, that it's okay to vote for one nation, that we have that support. More importantly, when it comes to voting, then give us your number one. Number two is no good to us. We have to have your number one vote. Then if we don't win the seat, then your vote will flow to your second choice. You're not losing your vote. Just give us your number one vote. And thirdly, we don't have the resources of the other political parties. So we actually have things like we have a shop. You can go on the One Nation site. You can actually buy up from our shop. These are some of the things that we've actually got here. Like this one here, this for the girls. It's one of our stubby holders. This one's for the gender neutral wankers. All right, so you got that one. I'm sorry, but that's how I feel. And this one, if you feel that way, well then I've got the guts to say what you're thinking. And there's another one. It's this one for the boys, but I haven't got it. I gave that one away. I was at the Air Force Base this morning.
Pauline, my wife's listening. My wife's listening over here, but I love you. And if my wife's listening, come out here and say hi to Pauline. She loves you. Christine, just come and say hi. She loves you. We love you. We're cheering you on because we believe that you are a beacon of light for this country. And I'm grateful. And, of course, Tracy and Paul, that I know well, and Robin over there at the Malcolm Roberts office, we appreciate everything you're doing for this country and for having the guts. I appreciate your stand. You're bold as a lion. And before you go, is there anything you would like to add before we bring in some more? I know you're busy. Here she is. My wife just wants to say hi. This is Christine, and there she is right there. Give her away.
Hi, Christine. Hello.
I'm going
Hi.
to the site. I'm going to buy some of your merchandise.
She says she's going to buy, and she.
I'm going to
Buy merchandise. You know. Yeah. Look, we really we're up against the big boys. But what I tell the people is, no one can control you. You are always in control of yourself. It's whether you want to let go of control and let people run over the top of you and tell you what to do. It's like you have your home. You decide who you invite into your home. You don't allow anyone in to tell you when you go to bed, when you have your meals and what to do. The same as your parliamentarians. You're putting people into a position of telling you what to do and how to do it. Make sure you make the right choice. And I've seen deadbeats that we shouldn't have in there that are useless and are taking up space on the seats. About time Australians start to wake up, realise that we've got a limited period of time now to ensure that we have a beautiful country to go forward, that we work together, but we still maintain our rights and our way of life that we have. Otherwise, they will take it from us in a heartbeat.
Pauline, before I say a brief prayer for you, let me tell you a little interesting thing that happened at the gym the other day. I live in the Broadwater electorate, was going to the gym, and the state opposition leader was working out, and he saw me, and I think the blood drained from his face. And I said, "David, are you the opposition?" He said, "Of course I am." I said, "Could you act like it? Could you take it up a level? Just take it up a level, sunshine. Because if you don't, I will." and I think we're Italian, so we kind of, he needs to take it up a level as well.
It's very important there because you see, we've got the two-party system, and the parties will tell you, don't vote for the crossbench because they're destructive in the Senate and they're actually causing the problems. Pat, it's not. You see, the opposition, you'll only get good government if you've got good opposition. And when we don't get that from the other side, it comes from myself and my Senator Roberts and that type of thing. We are the opposition in that parliament because we are prepared to question them, call for accountability. We want honesty, we want answers for the public. And this last thing, you talk about these vaccinations. I asked a question on the floor of Parliament of Senator Birmingham, and I said, why are you not enforcing that your candidates and your members of Parliament are mandatory vaccination? He said it is individual choice. Well, why aren't they doing for the rest of the country? Why are they forcing these health workers to have these vaccinations? So they're hypocrites. It's one rule for politicians and another rule for the public. Well, the public need to realise this and start standing up and fighting for your rights.
Correct. Thank you, Pauline. Let me say a brief prayer for you. Father, I pray for Pauline. Thank you for her voice. Thank you for her guts. Thank you for her stand. Thank you for the care and the nurturing she gives this country. Lord, I pray you protect her family. Lord, let there be good men and women rise up and support her. We thank you. We're grateful for her, Father. We pray your blessing upon her in every area of her life. Amen. Thank you, Pauline, so much. God bless you for being on today.